Welcome once again. It's JP, aka Mama There Goes That Man. And as always, I brought a friend. Let me stop these bullshit rhymes. You got me, my boy Mike, once again, coming to you live from Chicago. And since we from Chicago, it's only right that we talk about Chicago things here and there. You know, back episode 2 was an episode about Chicago's own Kanye West. And so this episode is going to be about Chicago's own Derrick Rose. I'm pretty sure you all know who D Rose is, even if you're not like a big diehard NBA sports fan. You all heard of Derrick Rose, whether it be because he was and still is a superstar in the NBA, youngest MVP in history, NBA history. He was drafted number 1 in 2008 by the Chicago Bulls. He played for the Memphis Tigers in college. D Rose, man, he left an impact on Chicago, on the NBA. But of course, he had a couple of injuries that set him back. But,
well documented.
Yeah, you seen some assholes share a couple of memes, making fun of his injuries and shortcomings. But this season, the Rose, man, it's regrowing, man. And we'll get back to that later. First, we're going to start out with talk about a little bit of D Rose's history, him starting out at Simeon Academy on the south side of Chicago. What's the first game you recall seeing Derrick Rose, Mike? And what did you think of?
It was a game at the United Center. I know he played at they had them tournaments at Chicago State University and also at the UIC Pavilion. But the memorable game I can recall is the game, I think it was for the city championship. I forgot against who it was, but it was at the United Center. And his leaping ability was through the roof. I think it was for his last championship. I gotta look up how many state championships they won. He won with Simeon, but I know Jabari. I think he won. They won 3 or 4 with Jabari, but with Rose, I'm not sure. So I'm gonna look that up. But back to that game, man. To see that point guard that small, that athletic, that fast, and just can jump out, through the building and dunk on people and just take off. He was faster, quicker, and he can the torque, the control in the air. This is in high school. So what people seeing in NBA, he was doing this in high school. It's not even college level either, So it was like, it was just like you never seen nobody do that. I never seen a point guard move like that or do what he was doing. So it was just unbelievable. It was the game at the United Center, and I gotta look at what team he's playing, but I believe it's for the Chicago City Championship at United Center.
Oh yeah, that was a game that some people complained about them not. I think back then they didn't have a shot clock, so a lot of kids took advantage of that. And D Rose, I believe, at the time, is work smart, not hard. Sometimes, that gets you where you're going. But so D Rose, he started out as the man, ran number 25. Number 25 has a rich history when it comes to Simeon.
Yeah, great point. Great.
Yeah.
You on
Benji?
Yep, Ben Wilson.
Yeah, he unfortunately he died. He was killed at a young age. He had potential to be possibly a superstar in the NBA, but his life was cut short. Due to violence in Chicago, which we still have a problem going on here now. And they retired the number 25, but they brought it out of retirement eventually. And one of my boys, Mario, he was the first one to wear that number 25 after they brought it out. And he was on a special on ESPN. It's Mario. He's on Xbox Live, always playing and talking shit, but you can catch him on ESPN if you ever catch that documentary. But anyway, Rose.
That's one of my favorite documentaries, by the way. It's called Benji. It's one of ESPN's 30 for 30, as well. Yeah, like you said, as well known Rose. Every I think great player at Simeon wears the number 25 in his honor. Benji was one of the best players coming out of high school at the time. He was even big up by Michael Jordan. Everybody in the league. He was just a hot commodity, and he ended up getting shot and killed. And it was a real sad story. That hospital is actually down the street from where I live right now. I believe the hospital was Providence that he passed away in, if I'm not mistaken. And that hospital was ill prepared to prep him from the gunshot wound. He could have actually lived, but they had him on the stretcher for so long. He ended up bleeding out, and he at the hospital. So this is a real sad story. Probably should never got to that point. It was throughout the nation. It was kind of like a limb bias type story. But yeah, I just wanted to add that 2 cents in for everybody. So, if you guys ever want to know about Chicago history of basketball and actually get the foundation of who we're talking about today, which is Derrick Rose, go check out that ESPN documentary, Benji.
Yeah, it was pretty good. So, yeah, Rose, after Simeon Academy, he ended up playing for the Memphis Tigers.
I remember that.
He had a nice college.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
You remember what?
Yeah, I remember that college, the national championship game. It was against Kansas, and Mario Chalmers was on that team, and also another Chicago kid was on Kansas. And so that's everybody was looking at that game. It was Sharon Collins.
Collins
from Crane,
yeah,
and Derrick Rose, from Simeon. They was going at it, and Sharon hit some big shots, some big threes. He wasn't looked as the superstar or the star in college basketball like Derrick Rose was at the time, but everybody knew for Chicago that he was gonna come bring it. And that game was huge. That game was fun. It came down to some free throws that Derrick missed, unfortunately. And Kansas ended up pulling it out.
It happens, though. I mean, even the so-called, who some claim is the greatest of all time. I mean, LeBron James is having trouble with his free throws in the clutch right now, so it happens.
Mm-hmm.
But there also ended up being some controversy surrounding Derrick Rose's NCAA career. They allegedly had someone else take his ACTs for him in another state.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. But when that story, what's crazy when that story had dropped. This is how people just come from anywhere. When that story dropped, Derrick was well into his NBA career. It's like nothing you could take from him. Maybe you want to, I think they threw penalties at the Memphis program for it. I mean, but, everybody, these one and dones, basketball players, they in it just to get to the league. And Derrick already, did, proved that he belonged in the league at that time. I think it was like 5, 6, 7 years, into his NBA career when that story came out.
Yeah, they took away Memphis's wins, I think, for that season.
Yeah. I mean, these kids get so done in by the NCAA. It doesn't make any sense, man. You know what's crazy? I was watching the show Ballers, and the last 2 or 3 episodes, focus on the NCAA on how they get over on college kids on the basketball and in particular in this show the football programs. So it's like if you don't do what they say, they just take your eligibility away or take whatever, even though they're making a profit off, your stardom. You don't get a dime. You just get marketing ability, but you got to put in that work. It's over $1 billion corporation that's supposed to be non-profit. So it's kind of the irony is crazy.
Right, you got coaches making millions. And you got the school making all kinds of money, but the kids not only do they not get paid, they're not supposed to accept money from outside parties, or they get disqualified from being able to play. So that's pretty messed up.
And then they don't even allow the kids to transfer to whatever school. They take away eligibility for you. It's like kind of crazy, but the coaches can leave at will.
Yeah, and that's why they got this new thing going with the NBA, with the G League, where they'll let the kids come straight from high school starting next year, I believe. That's a game changer, really. Because even though at one point you could go straight to the NBA from high school, but they made the rule that you had to go to college for 1 year because they felt the high school players were hurting the game. They were coming in. I mean, I saw it firsthand. I think it was kind of a good move for the league, but at the same time, it had a negative impact. But a lot of kids were coming straight from high school and just either weren't dedicated, weren't as good as people would expect them to be. You had the Kwame Browns and just some certain trash high school players. But some of the greatest players of all time came from high school, though. There's no denying that.
Yeah, honorable mentions: Dwight Howard, Kobe, J.R. Smith,
Kevin Garnett.
Yep. Shout out to Farragut High School.
Moses Malone,
Andrew Bynum. Yeah, I think he was actually the last high school kid to get drafted out of high school into the NBA. So, yeah, and Derrick Rose is just, just think, man, if he would have came straight from high school into the league, that's another year you could tack on a part of greatness we could have seen.
But then, everything happens for a reason. If he would have came straight from high school, we wouldn't have got him with the Bulls.
Definitely. Yeah, that brings us to, the next point. During that draft, the Bulls had a 1% chance during the draft lottery. I think they had like 1 or 2. If anybody knows the draft lottery, this is literally just like a lottery. You got the balls in the thing. If you ever seen a lottery show in this little air concealed container and the balls going everywhere. And the Bulls had like 1 or 2 balls in there out of I think the 7 or 8 teams that was in the lottery had like 5, 6, 7 balls in there. And Bulls had like 1 or 2. And I remember watching that lottery when I was in college at the time. And the Bulls ended up getting the number 1 draft pick with 2 balls out of like so many other teams that could have got the number 1 pick. And they literally had like a 1% chance of drafting Derrick. And they ended up getting that number 1 pick that year. It was like the stars aligned for him to, come home.
Yeah, it was like it was meant to happen. And you got certain people who say, "Oh, this is rigged," but hey, as a Chicagoan, shit, I'm glad whatever happened, we got him. So whatever.
Yeah, and to be honest, during that draft, because it wasn't just Memphis and Cass's balling that year. It was another kid in that draft, Michael Beasley. Derrick and Michael will always be forever connected at the hip as the 1 and 2. because Michael Beasley was actually leading the league, not leading the league, but leading college basketball in points scored and rebounds. And he was like literally the best player on that team, on the team that wasn't even stacked as everybody else's was. And, I felt, he was ambidextrous as well. He had like a mellow type game, but not off the dribble. Not the bounce that Melo had, but it kind of reminded me of his game. Reminded me of Melo's a little bit, and I just felt like the Bulls should have drafted Michael Beasley at the time because we were so guard heavy. But thank God they didn't listen to me, and I wasn't the GM.
Oh man, that would have been like disastrous, because on one end you would have had all us fans upset, like damn, with the what ifs. You would have had Rose over there with D Wade doing his thing. That's another big time superstar athlete from our area, from Chicago. Well, right outside of Chicago, but yeah, Wade. Him and Rose, that would have been a dangerous back.
Yeah, that would, and in knowing Wade, he would have probably took him under his wing, and you just never, seeing that duo together, man. I don't think we never seen them play together, have we? Well, unless Derrick was with the Cavaliers, I think he was on the USA team too as well with them. But we never really kind of seen them play. Well, in the Eastern Conference All-Star game, so. Been fun to watch though.
Yeah, we saw him did he play with him with the Cavs, or was he hurt?
I don't know. That time period with the Cavs, man. I know we jumping the gun, people, but it was foggy. That's the best way to, I think, describe that time there.
Yeah, that's a period in Derrick's career that I want to forget about.
Yeah.
Like, you going to the Cavs?
Yeah, you going to your rival because you don't never really picture Denver teaming up with LeBron because they used to go at each other throughout the Eastern Conference, every year.
Yeah, they used to go at it pretty hard, man. If Rose would have been healthy and didn't tear his ACL, there's no telling, how far the Bulls would have went.
Mm-hmm.
I remember like yesterday, man. I was at work listening to the Bulls game on the radio. They were playing Philly in the playoffs.
It's the first round.
Yeah, first round.
And Derrick,
Bulls were winning.
Derrick was injured. He was hurt leading up to that game.
Yeah, he ended up tearing his ACL in the fourth quarter, man.
Yeah.
And it's like, you could feel the gloom in the air, like at my job. Like everybody was like, man. Because it was on the TVs and the radio, and everybody was just walking around like, damn.
Yeah,
it just took the air out of
it felt like somebody died. You know how you can recall like where you was at when Michael Jackson died. I was at a White Sox game, by the way. But, with Derrick, it felt like that, because, our team was primed. This is the year we're going to go all the way. I really think, the Bulls would have pulled it off. I don't know who was who made it out in the West that year. I think it's probably the Mavericks or Spurs or Golden State, one of those three teams. We would have probably matched up with, but,
was it Oklahoma?
The Thunder. Yeah. I think it was Oklahoma. So, wait. I want to say the Mavericks. The Dallas Mavericks. Because
the year Rose got hurt?
Yeah, was that 2010 or it had to be 2010 or 2011, right?
I know that first time, wasn't it? Yeah, the first time we met up with the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals, and they beat us.
Mm-hmm.
So it was that next time when we played Philly.
Okay, so yeah, it was the Thunder we probably would have matched up with because you feel like we got beat down. Prior to that playoff series, we had a huge battle with the Boston Celtics. That was one of my favorite top 5 Derrick Rose games of all time. You remember that game? When they went like 5 assists overtime? Yeah, it went like 5 to 6 overtimes. It was a battle, man.
Yeah, Derrick, he was very determined. He's a winner. Even though they never won a championship while he was here, he played a huge part in bringing that winning culture back to the Bulls, though.
Mm-hmm. All heart, man. All heart. You just go out there and ball. Don't even think about. Then just play ball, man, and let it lay on the court. One of Derrick Rose's famous quotes, he says, "I down that court, man." It's like that's all I got. That's all I know. And it's like you can't do nothing but respect and love a dude like that, man. That's he ain't let his talent go to waste, and he's still not letting his talent go to waste. So it's just it's the prime example of just putting it all out there, man. Just go for it, all hard. God gave us some talent, some skills, and you got to take advantage of it, man. You can't just sit on your behind and not try to do something with it. And the dude that small, balling on everybody throughout the league, you can't do nothing but respect and love that.
Yeah, my favorite Derrick Rose quote was a more recent one. When they interviewed him when he came back to the Cavs after being hurt, and he was like, "Oh, are you doing it for the money or what's going on?" And he was like, "Man, I don't give no fuck about no money." So yeah, man, and I believe him too because he's doing it for the love of the game. He wants to win a championship before the end of the time. So I think during the off season, there's about to be a bidding war between the Lakers, the Bulls, and the Timberwolves. I think he should have a run with the Bulls again. Him and Levine would be great together. But I'm diving into the present. There's so much history, and great memories that the Bulls deliver with Rose. What's your favorite memory of D Rose in a Bulls uniform?
Man, there's so many, man. A few game-winning shots here and there. I'm going to say this. Derrick Rose terrorized point guards throughout the league. At his height, there was no other better point guard. Like, these point guards respect his game and who he is so much, you could just tell. He D'd them up. I mean, Russell Westbrook, Steph Curry, Kyrie Irving, Chris Paul. Think about all the top point guards. He has a win on all of them multiple times because he always brought the best against the best, brought his best against the best. And that was a knock with the Bulls. We always beat the good teams, but we always lost to the bad teams. But my most memorable is the game against the Phoenix Suns, man.
When he dunked on Dragic.
Yeah, that game shot Derrick to superstardom. Because of course we know him locally. You hear this buzz, you hear this little guy doing this and that. But nobody, this is before the Miami Heat game. This is before his MVP season, I believe. No, that was his MVP season. I'm sorry, but this is before it kind of took off. That game sent him to his first All-Star game. No, because when he got, if you can correct me if I'm wrong, his first All-Star year wasn't his MVP year, right? It wasn't, right?
I think that was his sophomore year. Was it his sophomore year?
Because I'm not.
Let us know, listeners,
because I want to say, man, that year, man, when he did that dunk on Gordon Dragic, man, and I mean, Man, go back and watch that, people, man. The man scratched his back with the ball, and Goran Dragic didn't have no business jumping. He didn't have no business at all jumping, and it was just so nasty, man. So beautiful, you know.
Don't jump, fella.
I mean, the man scratched his back with the ball and kept going up.
Yeah, it was his sophomore year. It says 2009, 2010 season. So that was his second year.
Okay, his third year in the league is when he got the MVP, right?
Yeah, it was the youngest MVP in
right.
history.
All right, so yeah. So that game there put the league on notice and shot him to superstar. And one of my other favorite quotes of Derrick Rose, after he accomplished that, Rookie of the Year and got his All-Star nod, going into his MVP season, I'll never forget it. He was like, a reporter asked him, he like, what's the goals for the next season? He's out, come MVP. Like, why not me?
Yeah, I remember that.
And I was like, man, look at this cocky dude here. And he went out and balled, man. And he pulled it off. I remember Carlos Boozer saying throughout that season, he was like, man, nobody's doing what Derrick's doing. Top 5 and 10 in points and assists. Nobody was doing what he was doing.
Yeah, on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, defensively. Yeah.
He's still a very solid defender.
Yeah. Shout out to Tibbs, man.
I think that played a huge role in it. He brings out the best in certain players when it comes to defense.
Yeah, man. I think they got, Tibbs, you could tell Tibbs love his players, man. He got a natural, Jimmy and Derrick. He got a special Taj, Lowell Dane. He got a special love for those players.
Yeah, you see, he tried to transform the Timberwolves into the Timber Bulls.
Yeah, I think
it didn't work out due to Jimmy having a huge ego, and also, I can see the frustration with Cat and Wiggins. Like these guys not used to a winning culture the way Jimmy was.
Mm-hmm.
Like Jimmy, he was used to the Bulls at least making the playoffs.
Right.
And they made the playoffs, and they got their ass kicked, and it did not look like those other players were doing the best they could.
Mm-hmm.
And these are young guys who not used to it. They used to being at home when the playoffs start. They're not used to the winning culture or leaving it all on the floor.
Yeah, and
they were probably in I'm just happy to be here mode.
Right. An argument could be made, man, that work ethic that Jimmy Butler got derived from Derrick. Because Jimmy Butler was 6th, 7th, 8th man off the bench. And Derrick was always the starter.
Yeah, I feel like Jimmy got too big for his britches, and the Bulls fed into that shit, and that's how they ended up trading roles. And plus, they have this coach Hoiberg, who they keep saying is Hoiberg system shit, but like my boy Torrance from fellow admin from SFU, shout out to Torrance Ratcliffe, that's my boy. Like he always says, like what is Hoiberg's system? Like how many years, how many seasons is it gonna take for us to see what this actually is? He got rid of the entire roster of a winning team.
Mm-hmm.
Got rid of 2 superstars.
Got rid of Coach Tibbs.
So what are we waiting for? Like what am I waiting to see?
That was their biggest mistake, hiring him to coach a veteran team. That was the downfall at the beginning of the end. Because I was one of the people that ain't had no problem when they fired Tibbs, but I would have been okay if they kept him. I was also okay when they got rid of him, because Tibbs was, the minutes, man. He, the Bulls gave him all this money and all these players. We was like the deepest team in the league at one point. We was like the Golden State Warriors before the Golden State Warriors. And, they used to call our bench the bench mob. Our bench was outscoring, we had the highest scoring bench at one point. And he's like, they gave you all these players, but you want to go to a 7-man rotation in the playoffs. It didn't make any sense. So,
killing guys.
Yeah, and they spent 2 years in a row after, because Bulls did spend money. They really was going for it. So I'll give them that. They really did open up the checkbook for players. But, so I respected them getting rid of them. But here's their mistake. They hired Fred Hoiberg, back to my point. They should have had a veteran coach to coach a veteran team. You can't bring no college coach that never coached the NBA to coach that team. Right. Players ain't gonna never respect you. That's just in life in general. So it's like they wanted somebody that they can control. That's what that was.
And it was like an experiment, a hit or miss experiment, and they missed. And they tanked last season, obviously. But the Bulls, the new younger players, they still look solid.
Horrible experiment. I'm sorry, but man, I hate that word. Like, how you gonna experience on a veteran Eastern Conference team that went? Keep going. I'm sorry.
But yeah, this season I fully expected them to have a great start, and now, man. To be fair though, we got all these injuries. But at the same time, it's frustrating to see these injuries, and then we got Chris Dunn got hurt, and they bring in Cameron fucking Payne.
The worst trade, one of the worst trades in NBA history. How we got that deal? You trade Taj Gibson and Dub McDermott, who can play ball, by the way, one of the top 3-point shooters in the league, and Taj Gibson, and we get Cameron Payne, and what else we get? Wait, that was pretty much the name in that trade, right?
And a bag of Doritos.
Yeah, if you package Taj and Dub McDermott, we should at least get a star. We could have got a star player or some draft picks, or first round draft picks. I think with that package together, at least one.
Man, but back to Derrick Rose, like I was saying, we got bomb ass Cameron Payne, and then I recently went to a Bulls game Saturday, and our starter, I don't even remember the man's name. His name was number 51. His number was number 51, and then the other guy was some guy named Harrison, number 3. And I'm sitting here like, man, we got this rotation of, no disrespect to them, but it's like we got this rotation of NBA mob players in Cameron Payne. And when we could have had, you look at Minnesota, you got Derrick Rose reemerging. You got him reemerging as a great player in the league. He dropped 50 points.
Mm-hmm.
He dropped 50 points, man. What was that, last week?
It was on Halloween, to be exact. Yeah, it was a career high.
Yeah, and he broke down crying. And the team celebrated, and they sprayed champagne on him back in the locker room.
Yeah, his part was water. I want to say champagne.
Well, whatever, they sprayed him, and they were celebrating, and it felt good to see that.
Yeah,
I saw a lot of people from here was celebrating too. Like, man, everybody just felt good for him, and it just made me say to myself, like, man, this city, we really love our own, man, and it's good to see Derrick doing good, gaining his confidence back.
Yeah, it's been a long journey, man, up into that game and up to where he's at right now. Multiple knee injuries and knee surgeries, sitting out part 2 years. It's just it's been a long journey, man. I felt he's been robbed, of he already had he has a great NBA career. To me, to be honest, I think he's a Hall of Famer. Because I know people probably cringe or frown at that a little bit, but name a point guard that was doing what he was doing, or we never seen a point guard in the league that could do what he did and become the youngest MVP in NBA history. I think he's just Hall of Fame off those credentials alone, and get and be competitive in the playoffs. You can't ask for more than that. I mean, if Grant Hill's in the Hall of Fame, Derrick Rose should be in it.
Most definitely. You see, that's the best case I can hear for it. You know, he accomplished more than Grant Hill.
Yeah.
For the most part, Grant Hill was getting cut by Orlando and just sitting at home.
Yeah, he definitely had a way better NBA career than Grant Hill. But Grant Hill got him on the college level. But Derrick, shoot, his first year, they go to the national championship. So it just, it's like the man's a Hall of Famer. There's no way around it. Nobody should wear the man number if you're playing for the Chicago Bulls. That number should definitely be retired after he's retired. I think he got good 5 more years, and hopefully, God willing.
And that's pretty interesting point, because Lauri Markkanen actually tried to take on number 1 because number 10 he originally wore. That's retired. And the Bulls advised him not to wear number 1, and he's like, "Oh, okay."
Mm-hmm.
And before that, bomb ass Michael Carter Williams tried to wear number 1, and they advised him not to wear it. And I'm glad he did not get that number 1, because he's a fucking bomb, and he can't lace up Derrick gym shoes. So fuck Michael Carter Williams. But anyway.
Yeah, to the non-Chicago Bulls fans that's listening, let's be honest, that's the best player that the Bulls has had since Michael Jordan. So, that's why we pay so much homage, because we had such a drought since the 98, 99 seasons up until Derrick gets drafted. Honorable mentions Kirk Heinrich and Ben Gordon, Luol Deng, but, they were nowhere near the level that Derrick was on.
And Jimmy might think he ended up being better than Rose, but
I don't think he feels that.
He rocking number 23 now and shit. And
well, he's part of the Jordan brand. He markets Michael Jordan product. Michael Jordan signed him, so.
But still, though, I don't know. This dude turned out to have a huge ego, and he's just a diva.
That's something to debate there. Yeah, I'm sorry to cut you off. Go ahead.
He's just a huge fucking diva and a problem, and I don't see him and Joel Embiid getting along very, very long, So
yeah,
Jimmy just over time is like, and then after Rose got traded, you can see more and more of who the real Jimmy Butler is, and he's saying like just stupid shit to the media, and I'm like, it's Jamie Foxx from Booty Call looking motherfucker. Just I don't know, just rubs me the wrong way.
I don't think man. That's just the chip on the shoulder. I don't think he rubs. I think there is something there, to be fair to your point. As far as his presence in the locker room. But it's like, I don't think he, Derrick, just not, kind of look at it from his point of view a little bit. Derrick was, such a huge cloud over that organization and the team, especially being a hometown Chicago kid. He was shown so much love. Like, it was impossible for anybody to shine. He was the Chicago Bulls. He is the Chicago Bulls. He is Chicago.
But Jimmy had his chance to lead when Rose was hurt due to major injuries, and after Rose got traded. And what happened? We went to the playoffs with Dwayne Wade and Rondo. As soon as Rondo got hurt, we were kicking Boston's ass before Rondo.
That's a fair point.
And as soon as Rondo got hurt, Jimmy was just looked like he was going.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
And we got our ass kicked. I went to one of the games, and little Isaiah Thomas, he was just out there running circles around motherfuckers, and Jimmy was just looking like shit.
That's a fair point. So, but to be honest, we brought it up. Jimmy was injured going into that playoffs, and also Fred Hoiberg was the coach. So, those are the 2 points there that we can bring up. But I really don't think Jimmy is that bad as people portraying. Because, like I said, he has to have a chip on his shoulder he, just think about it from his point of view a little bit. He gets drafted, I think it was a low first round from Marquette, by the way. Shout out to Marquette. And I think that's why him and D Wade has a connection, because Dwayne Wade went to Marquette. But
yeah. He actually wanted to go to Miami to play with Wade.
But he he gets drafted low, and then nobody could predict that they drafted an all-star player. He really worked his butt off 5-6 years to be the player.
I don't want to take away from that. Jimmy I love that he plays on both ends of the floor very great, and he's a good rebounder too. He's a top player in the league, definitely. But I just don't like what his personality has started to show.
Yeah, and I can see that, because it does come off as like, a little arrogant, and I think he's just trying to keep that edge, man. He worked too hard to get to where he at, and he ain't trying to, I don't think it's about outshining, but he's trying to hold on to the little shine that you got, and he ain't letting it up.
Yeah, I like humble cowboy hat country music listening to Jimmy.
I think he's still that, man. I think so.
Nah, man, you about to see, man, him playing with somebody like who's very vocal and not quiet at all, man.
Because, man, look, he went to Minnesota Timberwolves, and Andrew Wiggins and Cat, man, they underperformed badly. Like, Andrew Wiggins just, like, you could tell he got his money, and he's just going through the motions. It's like his arms is always down on defense. Even you don't know what type of game he got on offense. He can have spurts here and there, but it's like he's just going through it's like his mind is like not locked in. You could just clearly see it in his face. And this guy was a number 1 draft pick, so you got to keep that. You got to see that from Jimmy's point of view. Yeah. Like Cat Williams, another one. All they supposed to do is just dump it down to him, and he supposed to kill. He getting murked in the playoffs. And guess who outperforms him? Go ahead.
Cat Williams. Carl Anthony Towns.
I'm sorry, I said Cat Williams. Oh man, good catch.
Well, it was your antennas.
When the niggas was robbing me. But he he playing with 2 number 1 picks, and he's seen what it's like to play with a number 1 pick that put the work in, and these cats was just going through the motions. So he kind of pissed, it's like I would be kind of that same way. And I actually love that little confrontation that's been reported at the him taking the third stringers and beating the first stringers and yelling at the GM, you fucking need me. Like, you gonna pay them before me or not give me what I wanted. And, he has all the clout and credibility, because they didn't make the playoffs prior to him getting there. And before he got injured, they was a top 4 seed in the Western Conference, which is
So, but what about
crazy.
this though? What about this though? Why didn't he sit back and say, okay, even though Cat and Wiggins, they ain't not doing as great as I think they should be. Well, at least I got Derrick over here, showing signs that he's getting back to his old great ways. He didn't sit back and do that.
Well, what you mean? Elaborate on that. Like you think you saying he should have been okay with staying with Minnesota because Derrick is playing good?
Yeah, let's see where it goes. Fulfill your obligation.
That I agree with, because I feel like that with him on that roster. Look at the roster, man. That team is stacked. They got top 4 in the West in my mind, especially how Houston is playing. That's a top 4 seed. They could easily sneak into that top 4 seed, because that's a tough out to get them out in 4 games. The Minnesota Timberwolves, with just off their defense, skip the offense side, that's there. But yeah, I really was looking forward to this season, watching them and just play basketball. I hate that all the drama came out, but I can understand why he was frustrated. Because I guess he asked. I think it's deeper than what we know. I think it's more to it. Something he asked them during, prior to the off season, and he didn't get what he asked, and something happened.
He wants the biggest contract possible.
They should have gave it to him. He had I think you don't think he deserved the max, given that they got to the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean he's better than Wiggins.
Yeah, so yeah, I mean he had the credibility that I would did the same thing, like and they weren't willing to pay him that. Oh man, no.
They just for some reason, people don't look at Jimmy as a superstar.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't. Yeah.
If he was out in commercials and just more popular. Yeah, and they would have gave him that money with no question.
I don't either, but I'm also I'm a realist. I'm like, the grass ain't always green on the other side, so you gotta be happy for what you got. And so Minnesota should have, swallowed their pride or whatever problems they were going through. But it's a thing.
So do you think he the best player that Minnesota had since Kevin Garnett?
Jimmy Butler?
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
Better than Love was?
Ooh. That's a good one. I don't think
he didn't take them anywhere either though.
No, he didn't. But Love also didn't have this team, this roster. So yeah, I think that's a good debate. Who would you take, Kevin Love or Jimmy Butler? I take Kevin Love, but I love Jimmy Butler's. There's so many wing defenders. Jimmy Butler's probably more valuable.
I'm taking Jimmy due to his durability right off top.
Yeah.
Kevin Love stay injured all the time.
So man, I'm gonna ride with Jimmy Butler. I think he's the best player the Timberwolves have since Kevin Garnett. Yeah, I had for like a year and a half.
So back to D Rose. The other day they played the Lakers. He had his career high 7 3-pointers, had 31 points. He hit one of the threes, like, weak ass niggas.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, Rose is back.
Yeah, he's having fun, man. He's falling in love with the game, man. He needed this. He needed that.
Rose is back, man. So I saw a big debate, and I saw a quote actually from someone on ESPN or Fox Sports. They said Derrick Rose was Russell Westbrook before Russell Westbrook was Russell Westbrook. So
I want to reverse that quote, but I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So one question is, who you taking in their prime, Rose or Westbrook?
Well, questioning Rose, and here's why. It's due to what Westbrook has not shown me compared to what Derrick Rose has shown me in the postseason. And granted, the rebuttal there, they're in the West, but still, but they did go to the finals, so that is a notch that's on Westbrook. But I think a lot of that's predicated on having the top 3 player in the league. But I think Rose is a better leader. He shouldered the workload much better than Westbrook can handle. And I think Westbrook is starting to learn what Derrick Rose is already doing at 22, 21, 23. This Westbrook we're seeing is what people are loving. I love about it. But Westbrook is Derrick Rose when Derrick Rose was doing this 5, 6, 7 years ago. So it's like there's no Westbrook without Derrick Rose. There's no Damian Lillard. Probably even Steph Curry and Kyrie Irving. A lot of their styles throughout the league is predicated on, even John Wall I throw in there. Derrick. If you can think about it, can you name a point guard prior to Derrick Rose at the height of his prime that was doing what he was doing and can do the things he can do? dunk on anybody, shoot the jump shot. Get the 9 to 10 assists a game, 25 plus. Yeah, 25 plus points. Nobody never seen that level of athleticism ever from a point guard at his size, doing what he was doing. He was a miniature LeBron James.
Yeah. I won't say we'll never see another D Rose, but I don't know if anytime soon we'll see a Chicago hero come and play for the Bulls and bring that special vibe and winning culture back like Rose did. I was hoping for the best with Jabari, but he's looking solid. But at the same time, it's nowhere near a comparison.
Nah.
First of all, he's still losing, but.
Yeah, I think Jabari is frustrated at the coach, man. I'll be looking at if you go watch these Bulls games when Jabari's at the free throw line and they on the Bulls side of the court where the Bulls bench is right there. That's when the coach call the plays out. When they get the ball, and Jabari always got his hands up, looking at the coach like, okay, what's the play? Like, what's going on? Where you want me? It's like you could just see the frustration. I don't think he believes in the coaching staff, and he didn't like that he wasn't starting. Which the guy's getting paid $20 million, and the skill set that he has, he's a positionless player, and we're in this positionless era, a la LeBron, where you kind of need a player like that can switch and defend and can play multiple positions. So I ain't understand him not starting either. But I think Jabari's just frustrated at Hobart. I don't think he like him.
So do you see Rose coming back next season and having a successful run with the Bulls if he comes back?
I mean, would it be best for him though? You know what I'm saying? Like,
I really honestly think he wants to come back.
I think he do, but it's like the stars got him. He needs a veteran coach. He needs a tough coach. I would like to see him play with tough coaches. I don't want to. He's not the perennial all-star. Where he can just come in and we just ball. He still needs some direction.
He showed some flashes of where he is right now with Cleveland while he was healthy. Because at the beginning of the season, because it's a couple of games he kept them in. And he said
you said with Cleveland or Timberwolves?
Rose, when he was with Cleveland last season before he got traded, there was a couple of games towards the beginning of the season where he kept them in the game. He was pretty clutch for them before he went down with the injury. It was during the game versus Milwaukee. He ended up landing on somebody's foot and he hurt his ankle. Mm-hmm. And he was never the same after that with them. And that's when he came back, got injured again. They traded him to Utah. Utah cut him. He ended up with Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been dangerous to see Rose over there
at Utah with Mitchell.
Yeah, with Donovan Mitchell. Man, that would have been dangerous.
Yeah, but then again, like, you gotta understand his psyche. You gotta put that into, you gotta put that into fold. Like, there's been reports that Derrick was in a dark place even with Cleveland, mentally, and doing stuff. So he really didn't.
I think all those players were frustrated, even Isaiah Thomas, because it's like you look at the media.
No, it's deeper than that. I mean, like, I'm talking about from a personal standpoint. I think he was dealing with some inner demons personally. That's been reported that. But people ain't gonna put his business out there in the public. But it's like it's been reported some stuff that's been going on with him personally that he was dealing with, and mentally.
He's supposed to be no show the game, right?
Yeah, I think that was New York though.
No, that was back when he was with me.
Yeah, so, but it's like, this all the build up, and I think he really found himself in Minnesota. So I think it's a psyche thing, a mental thing with him. You know,
as long as he doesn't sign with the Indiana Pacers, I'm good.
I don't think that would happen. Nah,
that would be a betrayal. Even though I feel like him signing with Cleveland was a betrayal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the two best landing spots for him, man, it's probably Minnesota and Chicago. You know, I wouldn't mind him going to play with the Spurs or something like that. So, you know, as long as it's a hard-headed nose coach, but you know, Minnesota and Chicago probably his two best landing spots.
Yeah. So, what do you feel like the type of impact he has already left on the city and will leave on the city once he retires?
Anything is possible. You know, I love what Jabari said at his press conference. They asked him about Derrick, and he's like, you know, Derrick Rose is a hero, you know, to Chicago, to come from the south side of Chicago and go to high school and, you know, and succeed on the highest level in the sport, you know, is almost, you know, it's LeBron-like. You know, he has a LeBron James-like story, you know, and it's pretty, they kind of like the same, one and the same. You know, he's just a hero, man, to me and a lot of the kids here. You know, and his demeanor, how he carry himself, how he walk, how he talk, is all Chicago. You know, it's just amazing, man. It's beautiful, man. And I'm so happy for him.
Let me ask you throw out another point guard. Kyrie Irving in his prime or Derrick Rose in his prime?
You talking about just like one-on-one skill set or like on the team, like NBA
on the team
or the point guards? Man, I'm picking Derrick. You know, I'll pick Derrick. You know, because you know he's bigger than Kyrie defensively, and as a team set, you know, I ain't never seen Kyrie carry a team. He has the potential to do that now.
But Boston too stacked. All right, no. Yeah. Matter of fact, I got a better one for you. Derrick Rose or Allen Iverson?
Ooh. That's a tough one, man. Now that, you know, I can't think of a point guard, but I don't view Allen Iverson as a point guard. I view him as a shooting guard. It's like, I don't know, do you view Allen Iverson as a point guard?
Only because of his size. I mean, you like 5'11" pretty much.
It's kind of hard to, you know, when I think of point guards, you think of Jason Kidd, Chris Paul, you know, even if you want to go back, you know, older, you know, you like, think about the Isaiah Thomas, you know, man, if I had to choose Derrick or AI, man, you know, so, you know, just I pick AI over Derrick just so I'm not too biased. And I don't think a lot of Chicago fans will want to knock me. I mean, we talking about pound for pound, probably one of the best players to ever play. Career scoring average of 27 points per game. He took a team, kind of like Derrick's team, to the finals to go against Kobe and Shaq. I mean, it was an uphill battle, man. You know what I mean? You know, kind of like Derrick, nobody's saying a point guard / shooting guard quite like AI, man. So yeah, I'll take AI. Yeah,
I'm rocking with D Rose, even though I love AI. But it's like shit. I think about Rose
AI had a better jump shot though. They're way better.
I'm saying though, D Rose
had a free throw shooter.
Rose is athletic as hell. Well, AI was good on defense. You know, he averaged like 2 steals a game.
Yeah, he was great. Yeah, them long arms, man. People don't realize how long AI arms is. He can stand up and scratch his knee at the same time, kind of like Tracy McGrady.
Still taking rolls.
Just off the athleticism, huh? You like the dunking.
No, not just that. I mean, he had it all. Like they said. I mean, was it Skip Bayless? I'm not sure, but I agree with them. He was Westbrook. You know what I'm saying? Before Westbrook was Westbrook. You feel me? Like Rose could just naturally do it all.
Man, you know, I hate when people compare Rose to Westbrook. I'm not a huge Westbrook fan. Well, I'm just saying. And I'm not saying like I hate you and I'm like I just hate when you know people when they think of Derrick Rose they think of Westbrook, or that when they think of Westbrook, it should be when they think of Westbrook they think of Derrick
the
Rose.
reason why they do that because he's a super athletic point guard. Like
I know.
You got the point guard just coming out of nowhere doing all these crazy ass dunks and just playing the lane, and he's just a freak of nature when it comes to athleticism. So.
Yeah, because people don't know Westbrook and Rose used to work out together during the off season, and Rose used to come back to Chicago every year with something where it was like a new move. I remember one year he came back with a 3-point shooting and jump shots. So they all, they used to work out together in the off season. Rose was kind of getting more successful every year, and I'm pretty sure that led a fire under Westbrook. Like, man, this dude here, part of motivated him, definitely motivated him.
Yeah, it's a great story for the league, great story for the city of Chicago, especially with all we have going on here.
Yeah.
We need more heroes. We need more great celebrities from here. We got Rose. We got Obama. We got Kanye. We got, the world can love or hate Kanye, whatever. But Chicago always loved Kanye. We got who else?
Chance,
yes, definitely, most def Chance, and Common, Lupe, Twister.
I forgot about Lupe, man. Where he been at?
Man, he just dropped the album this year. A double album. It was real nice. Y'all check that out. Yeah, y'all check that out. Called Draga's Wave. Check that joint out. It's hot. But my boy Rose, I'm really hoping he comes back next season. Pick up where he left off. I don't see us. I'm being realistic. No, we not probably. Most likely not going to win the championship with Rose, but it would be nice to see him back and that winning culture come back to this city.
See him I think you just want to see him in a Bulls uniform.
Yeah, and I just want to see the winning culture just come back to this city and this team, man. Because it's like I don't want to sit and see us keep losing every year, and Hoiberg just sitting there content as hell, like it's whatever.
Yeah, I view it like, man, if you can't go 100 miles an hour with a Ferrari, what the hell you gonna do with a Pinto? So, like he had everything to be successful with, when they broke the team up, and now you got to rebuild all that, and now you got what I guess they apparently what he needed or wanted to be successful in his so-called system. It don't like it's panning out. I know, albeit the injuries and all that. But I'm not a fan of Holberg. I think he should go back to college. He's a good offensive coach. I do see offensively, how the team has progressed under him. But he's just not a good NBA coach.
So one more thing before we get ready to wrap things up. Do you remember the day that Derrick Rose got traded from the Bulls?
The date? No, I don't remember the date.
Oh, do you remember the actual day? I mean, like, as far as like when you heard about it, what was your reaction?
Yeah. I wasn't even hurt by it because it's like out of all the injuries and all our downfalls throughout the playoffs, I was more mad at the package. It's like, I'm a kind of a non-emotional guy.
You got Lopez though; he's pretty solid.
Yeah, but I ain't want them to include Justin Holiday, and guess what? He's back on the Bulls. I'm like, why would you include Justin Holiday with just trade if you just why would you get him Justin Holiday?
That's true.
And I'm like, and because Justin Holiday was balling that year, everybody can recall. He had the fro at the time. I don't know what type of hairdo he got now. I don't know what the hell that is. But if you look, his brother, Drew Holiday, played for the Pelicans with Anthony Davis, another Chicago kid. But shout out to him. And it's like, I was mad that they included Justin Holiday. I'm like, all right, you're getting rid of our injured star, our heart. We need all the offense, people we can, that can carry, that can ball. And I was real mad they included Justin Holiday in that trade. That was my reaction to it.
Oh man, man, that day was gloomy as hell. I was in my car at the Chinese restaurant. I heard it on the radio on WGCI. It was breaking news. The Bulls have traded Derrick Rose to the New York Knicks. And I was like, this can't be real.
Yeah.
And I'm running into people. Man, you heard? Bulls traded Derrick Rose. Everybody was just snapping, and it was. You could see just the gloomy vibe everywhere. And you could tell how much this man really means to this city. And that's one of the huge reasons why you consistently see people with the fire Garnett packs. Like, people ain't letting up. Like, I don't care if the Bulls was tanking because they want to get good draft picks. They're like, fuck Garnett packs, get them out of here. Y'all got rid of Rose. Fuck y'all. Got rid of now. And then, people got to snapping when they traded Jimmy. So
that was the part of the best trade that they ever did. But
that was great. That ended up being a great trade, by the way, because ended up with 3 starters for Jimmy, and LaVine is going to be a superstar,
and a potential 2 All-Stars.
Yeah, LaVine is going to be a superstar, and Lauri Markkanen is going to be a superstar. But when Rose got traded, it felt like they ripped the city heart out with that trade.
I don't know. It's like I wish I can go back to that time period because I think it was a build up to it.
The disappointing injuries and the relationship between them and his brothers.
It was like a thing. Yeah, so it's like it wasn't a huge shocker to me. It was like a build up. It's like but I also want to address the Garnett Packs thing. I'm cool with they should get fired. Garrett Foreman. I'm cool with us keeping Paxton because he actually drafts pretty good. I mean, the Bulls is a farm system. If you look throughout the league, a lot of players we drafted is kind of performing pretty good.
Yeah, but that don't benefit us, so fuck him.
I know. I don't even think it's his call to keep the players, to be honest with you.
I don't know what's going on. I just hope they watching these Minnesota games and they see that Derrick is back to his old form and playing pretty good.
And half the Bulls team is on that team. that they drafted, by the way, those players.
Yeah, so bring Rose on home. And we just want to close by saying, Derrick Rose, if you ever listen to this, the city love you. We fully appreciate you. Hope you come back, play for us. And we might not get a championship, but at least come back and just come home and play for your people again, because we greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Yeah, put that Bulls jersey back on and go out, the way you came in.
That number 1 is waiting for you, man. All right, this has been episode 5 of the Undiluted Podcast. Derrick Rose.
Peace.
Till next time, people.
Peace and love.
Yeah.